Namaste friends, welcome back to pavitechzone. In this video, we are going to see about XML attributes in Android Studio. Are you struggling to make sense of all those XML attributes in Android development? You are not alone. Today we are breaking down some of the most essential XML attributes that every Android developer should know. Whether you are a beginner or just need quick refresher, this video will help you to understand how to make your layouts clean, functional and visually appealing. Stick around to learn how each attribute can drastically change the way your app looks and behaves. Before we dive into the specifics, let's briefly talk about what XML attributes are. In Android, XML attributes allow you to define the properties of UI elements known as views. Views are the building blocks of your app's user interface like buttons, text fields, and images. Think of XML attributes as settings or instructions that tell these views how to appear and behave on the screen. Now let's look at some of the most commonly used XML attributes and see how they can simplify your Android development process. First we have Android ID. This attribute is like giving a name to your view so you can call it later in your code. Imagine you have several buttons on the screens and you want to make one of them do something when it's clicked. You need a way to tell your code exactly which button to act on. And that's where Android ID comes in. By assigning a unique ID to each view, you can easily reference it later. So as you can see here, it's XML code. We have used button, Android ID, we have given the ID as my button. So if we have many buttons in our project, if you assign any unique ID to one of the button, so you can perform any specific task for that button. Here the button has an ID of my button, so whenever you are writing code, you can easily refer to this specific button. Next we have Android text. This attribute is used to define what text will appear inside a text-based view, like a text view or a button. If you are creating a button that says submit or label that reads username, this is the attribute you will use. Here the text view will display the message welcome to the app on the screen. So using the text attribute, we can easily display our text on the screen. Now let's talk about Android layout width and Android layout height. These attributes tells the view how big it should be. The values you can set are usually match parent, which makes the view as big as its parent container, or wrap content, which makes it just big enough to fit this content. These attributes define the width and height of a view. You can set these to specific values like match parent or wrap content to control how your view scales within its parent layout. In this example, the image view will only be as large as the image it contains, ensuring it fits neatly into your layout. So both Android layout width and Android layout height come up with two options, that is match parent or wrap content, or you can easily assign some values to it. So whenever you assign to the wrap content, all the area fit to the content inside the button or text. If you assign it to the match parent, so all the content will match to the parent height and width. Next we have Android layout margin. This attribute controls how much space you want to leave around the view, creating a buffer between the view and the other elements on the screen. Think of it like putting a space around a picture frame so it does not touch other frames on the wall. So here in this example, there will be 16 dp, that means density pixel of space around the button, preventing it from bumping into other views. So usually we use margin to give some space between any two of the pictures or any two frames on the screen. Next we have Android layout gravity. This attribute determines where the view should be positioned with its parent container. For example, if you have a button in a layout and you want it to be centered, you use Android layout gravity. So in this example, we have used Android layout gravity as center. So this will be position the button right in the center of its parent layout. So you can use the gravity to the center or to the right, to the left, or you can assign some of the value to it. So now we have used center, so it will be positioned in the center of the parent layout. Moving on to Android padding, this attribute is bit different from margin. It controls the space inside the view between the view's content and its boundaries. If you have a text inside a button, padding makes sure that the text does not touch the edges of the button, giving it some space. So here in this example, we have used the padding as 12 dp. This will add 12 dp of space inside the button, making the text appear more centered and spaced out. Next, we have Android background. This lets you to set a color or an image as the background of the view. For example, you might want a button with a blue background or a text view with a custom image behind it. So we use background to add some of the images or color to your screen background image. In this case, the button will have a blue background. So we have used the background color as blue. So our button will have a blue background. Next, we have Android visibility. This attribute controls whether a view is visible on the screen. You can set it to visible to show the view, invisible to hide it, but keeps its space, or gone to completely remove it from the layout. This is useful if you want to show or hide parts of the UI based on your actions. Here, the text view is hidden completely and won't take up any space in the layout, as we have used Android visibility as gone. So whenever we use gone, so there will be no any actions or any of the frame will be visible on the screen. It will be completely hidden and it won't take up any space in the layout. So to see how these attributes work together, let's create a simple example. Imagine you are designing a button that the user can press to submit a form. We will include all the attributes we discussed. So let us launch the Android Studio. So we will create the new project, empty view activity. Next, we will name it as XML attribute. Click on finish. So our project has been successfully launched. Now open our activity main.xml file. So first we will add one button and we will include all XML attributes inside it. So first we will change this constraint layout to linear layout. And we will give its orientation to vertical and padding to 16 dp. And we will remove this text view. We will add button. Width we will give it as wrap content, height also wrap content, and we will assign one ID to it. ID, we will give ID as submit button. We will add text to it. We will give text as submit. And layout margin, we will include layout margin top as 24 dp. And we will give layout gravity as center and padding as 12 dp. Next, visibility, we will give it as visible. So Android ID, which we have assigned as submit button, gives the button a name so you can refer to it later in your code. And Android text we have given as submit sets the text inside the button to submit. Android layout width is assigned to wrap content and height is also wrap content. It ensures that the button size adjusts to just fit its text. It means that whenever you change the text to submit my code, so button get expanded according to the text size. So if you delete my code, again it comes to the submit. The button got smaller on its own according to the text. And when we change width to match parent, so as you can see, the size of the button matches to the parent. So, and again when we change height to the match parent, so as you can see, the size of the button has got changed. So we will give it as wrap content and width also as wrap content. And we have margin top as 24 dp, and when we change it to the 54, again it will come little bit down. And we have gravity as center, we can change it to left or right. So as you can see, it moved to the right of the screen. And we have padding as 12 dp, and if we change it to 30 dp, as you can see, the space between the text and the boundary of the button has got increased. And visibility we have given as visible. So if you give it as invisible, as you can see, the button is not visible. And if you give it as gone, so as you can see, the space of the button has also been removed from the screen. So again when we give it to visible, so again our button will be visible on the screen. So this was all about today's video. We have seen most essential XML attributes for the Android development. So I hope this video was helpful for you. If you found this video helpful, make sure to hit a like button and subscribe my channel for more useful videos. And also let me know in the comments if you have any other topics you would like to cover me in the next videos. So thank you for watching and see you in the next video.